Good morning. Welcome. It's Friday. It's beautiful. It's in the 70s. So it's a really nice day. And I'm still recovering from my dental adventure. And if you look carefully, you might even see the bruise I got from the physician leaning into me to operate in my mouth. So I learned a long time ago, exercising, that if you do something, I don't mean you do it intentionally, you do something too much, that all of a sudden you have pain, like I call it the 2-day rule, 2 days afterwards. And I asked my internist years ago, is that just me? Where does that come from? And he said it takes 2 days for the inflammation to show up. So I think the 3 days was to allow for that to go away. So tomorrow I can exercise again. It's probably more than you want, but want to hear. But the thing about it is, people don't like going to the dentist, and I delayed because of the pandemic and the intense contact that a dental visit requires. But don't put it off. It's important to do it because it's part of your entire system. So I'm preaching to the believers, I'm sure, but it's on my mind because of my own condition. So what remedies do we need in society? There's like two schools of thought, it seems to me, about the virus. One is those of us who've taken all the precautions. You know, we locked down if we could, or we kept distance. We washed our hands when we could. We got the 2 shots of the vaccine, and we continue to be cautious and vigilant. And then there's the other school. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to do anything. It's all a hoax, or some similarity, or the chance is so little that you shouldn't worry about it, even though it could bring terrible suffering, if not death. We're at a point, though, where we're being educated about the Delta variant, and the Delta variant is a powerhouse. And we're going to be sending kids to school who already transmitted a high level, and we don't know how they're going to handle this Delta variant, and many of them have not had the vaccine. We also have learned in recent days that when they said it would be 92, 93, 94% effective, or whatever number, that meant it wasn't 100%. And they couldn't know. I mean, they did tests, and it's obviously very powerful, but you couldn't know how safe it is. And now we're seeing people are getting, even though they've been vaccinated, they're getting the virus, and in recent days it's like tripled, and some are dying. There's a report in DC about people dying. So out in LA, we have people revolting because they're being required to wear a mask. They should wear a mask. And if it was just for them, and I don't really feel this way, but I think people this irresponsible may deserve what they get, but their family, friends, older people, people who have comorbidities, all these other people, they don't deserve to be exposed to this, to be harmed, to be compromised, particularly children who, I had an example I said a couple of days ago from Omaha. So what are we doing about this? We've got to have a full court press. We have to try to regulate people to do the right thing for health and safety, and right now they're not. The Supreme Court is got a big issue before it. It often does. The big issue is Roe v. Wade. It's that sleeping issue that is at the base of our national argument. And 50 years ago, Roe v. Wade said that a woman has basically an absolute right of choice for 24 weeks, pre-viability. And now Mississippi wants to push a rule saying maybe there are exceptions to pre-viability. What, to 6 weeks or what number of weeks? And their answer is, well, if we force a woman to have a child to term, they could be adopted. Do these people have any idea what foster care is like, what adoption in America is like, or any place else? And how do you force a woman to be like cattle and to bring a child into this world that you take away from her and you give to someone else? It's wrong. It's just wrong, particularly when there's such discrimination, even when we do that. And I do think that some people support the right to life because they want soldiers. They want the right to die as well, because they don't do anything for them from, birth to cradle to grave. They're not there. They don't want to do anything. Don't help these people. So much for the general welfare. So, now, while we're talking about the Supreme Court and the three bookends that were approved in a very questionable manner, one of the ones we focused on in the past has been Kavanaugh. And Kavanaugh was very much pro-life under all sorts of circumstances. Apparently went out of his way to encourage Trump to believe he would be a good choice. And there's two problems with the guy, at least two, three maybe. One is the issue of pro-life. That's his issue. That's what he believes. He made it crystal clear. But, he'd follow precedent, although not all precedent is equal, as Barrett said during her nomination hearings. But on top of it, the two other things he did was apparently there are charges that he raped a woman, and he likes beer. There are ways he could have handled that would have been persuasive, except for the rape and having a pre-identified position on Roe v. Wade, which contradicts precedent, which is a core issue in how we analyze cases in law. Well, the FBI was asked in August of 2019 to tell the Hill within 30 days, so what background do you have on our boy Kavanaugh? Tell us what else he may have done. Well, when they got the report? They got it in June of this year. So from August 2019 until June, we didn't get an answer. And then the answer said there were 4,500 tips. I don't know what they are. But the tips were forwarded to the White House. And so the Senate didn't get them at any time when it could be useful. Those tips should be reviewed now. And it's not too late to revisit whether or not that nomination made sense. In the meantime, my Democratic friends, we don't hear them say anything about the unfair court. We don't hear them proposing any remedies about the court. It's like the most important issues we're asleep on. The senior partner I worked with in a Midtown law firm after I was a prosecutor, he said that in every case, there is a huge dead animal in the center of the room. And the poorer lawyers ignore that animal. They don't discuss it. And they just hope it'll go away or it won't hurt their case or whatever. Well, we have a whole bunch of, animals is a bad term, but important issues in the center of the room. We're not talking about them, and they don't go away. And you can't win the argument you don't make, and we have to pay attention to that. In the column of voting, I can't run on today, huh? In the column of voting, getting away from the 4,500 tips we're not looking at involving Kavanaugh, we have a situation in Texas where Texas has scared off its Democratic members because they want to pass one of the most, mass-resistant voting packages since Jim Crow won. And but on top of that now, they're talking about choosing key counties and auditing them for fraud when there's no evidence of fraud to start with. So it's like a pattern we saw in Arizona. Now they're going to do it in Texas. They're going to do it in elsewhere. And what are they doing? They're undermining our democracy, because that's what autocrats do. Your system isn't fair. Come with us. We'll take care of you. I'm very glad to say that Pelosi has done the right thing by getting rid of No Jacket Jordan. That guy. And, it says something about McCarthy. McCarthy wanted a food fight, and so he proposed them. And McCarthy outsmarted himself, because if I were advising him, and I don't want to do that, and I can't hurt myself now because he's already made his decision, I would have said protest it, but participate, so that you have someone in the room. And maybe somebody more responsible than these yahoos that you were going to put there. And then on the, elections in Virginia, McAuliffe, a former governor, is running against Youngkin, who is right-wing nut who's never run for office before. And Biden's coming into the state, I understand, to support his candidacy, which will be a good test for the midterms and for the presidential election down the road. So that's what I got on my mind on Friday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.